Hey guys, Derek Schmidt here. This little video that I want to do here, I really want to talk about the importance of networking and not so much the ordinary, make sure you're going out to networking events and everything, but to give you a real life example. Yesterday I had a meeting with somebody who I would have most likely otherwise not been able to have that meeting with. And that meeting mainly came out of my willingness to get out there and get involved with my community, but mainly to just give back without expecting anything in return. So a little bit of backstory was there was an opportunity to volunteer for mentoring inmates or former inmates who were interested in becoming entrepreneurs. So once I heard about it, of course, I reached out and I really wanted to get involved. So I did. And last year I served as a mentor for these mentees to help them on their journey to becoming an entrepreneur. Again, not to claim that I know everything by a long shot. I definitely don't. But maybe I've made some mistakes that will save somebody else, or maybe I know some things that will help somebody else. And anyways, so I rocked that for about 6 to 8 weeks. And then following the courses, we're assigned mentees where we just call, check in, kind of have meetings and, just make sure that they're keeping the ball rolling. But anyway, so I was involved with that. And then yesterday I had the opportunity to sit down with Brian Hamilton, which is the person responsible for Inmates to Entrepreneurs program here in North Carolina. So anyways, I was sitting down with him and I was just kind of, giving him my story, why I wanted to be involved. And then we started talking about my companies. And it turns out we had a lot of very common interests in what I'm doing and what he's done in his career. And he seemed really perceptive to what I was saying and wanted to get involved. So again, just speaking on the importance of networking, I think it's more about your network and not necessarily your net worth. There's another example where, I recently plugged into something called Network for Entrepreneurs in Wilmington. It's a free event that goes on every month. It helps entrepreneurs kind of get plugged into the ecosystem around the state as far as fundraising, investments, crowdsourcing, etc. I'd been going to several of those events, and what came out of that was, first off, I was able to sit down and speak with several different investors, not because I sent them some blind email and we had a meeting, but because I attended these events and I caught up with them afterwards and just told them a little bit about what I was working on, and got invited out to dinner, sat down, got contact information, have stayed in touch. That's actually led me into learning about and getting involved with several other opportunities around the state. So that was a huge bonus for me, but I was also plugged into the person who put that on, which is Jim Roberts. And Jim knows a lot of people around the state, especially people that I don't necessarily know or have direct access to. So again, attending those events kind of allowed me to become a regular. And just like I did with the investors, I went up to Jim after the event, introduced myself. That was about it for a couple months. And then I had another opportunity to sit down, and Jim and I kind of got more familiar with each other. And he's been another huge asset to me in my growth. So again, I want to speak on the importance of getting out there and networking, plugging into the resources you have available. Because when you go to these networking events, if you're going in there with the mindset of not necessarily selling somebody, but what can you give, what value can you provide with somebody, it's so much easier to get something in return from it. I try not to, but I can't think of one example where I literally walked in and I was the new guy and I immediately started, asking for sales or asking for business, because that's what everybody else is doing. But instead, what I was trying to do was stop talking about myself, listen to them, and then find ways that I'm able to help in whatever capacity get them further to reaching their goal or trying to achieve something they want to do. And again, it's just the domino effect. Once I did that, I believe it was a lot easier for other people to reach out and help me as I needed help. And it's kind of that mentality of give before you take. In fact, I read a book fairly recently called Influence, and one of the primary messages in that book was that if you, here's an example. If you ask a favor of someone, but you don't give, you don't give a reason why you need that favor, or you've not done anything to help this person previously, they're much less likely to want to help you. However, if you ask a favor and you give a reason or an explanation on why you need that favor, or you have previously given them something that maybe have value, then they are much more likely to do that favor for you. So again, get out there, network. Don't worry about trying to close people or make sales so much. Make sure you're getting out there and you're getting your face in your community. You're becoming known in your community, but also you're known as somebody who's willing to give and not take all the time. So that's my 2 cents for today. If you like this video, make sure you check out the other videos on the channel. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, and thanks for listening.